everybody. How we doing?
Hey. Awesome. A little more energy, guys. Hello.
My name is Sean Kinney. I'm the principal analyst at RCR Tech. I really hope you all are enjoying the summit so far. We've had a lot of really candid conversations about the outlook for agentic systems to really transform telco operations. It's a pleasure to keep that going with Danielle Rios, CEO of Totogi. We're going to dig into what's working today and what's not. So, hey, DR, how are you?
Yeah, hi, Sean, and so happy to be here in Barcelona at the Agentic AI Summit with all of you guys. So thanks so much for being here.
So the goal of this fireside is to look at 5 myths that are informing operators' strategies around agentic AI. But before we get into the myths, let's talk about the reality. And the reality is, according to Gartner research, that 40% of enterprise agentic AI projects are going to be abandoned by 2027. The ROI is just not coming through yet. I talk to a lot of operators. It's a big part of my job, and they're doing a lot of experimentation with AI, and as we heard in the last session, not a lot of those experiments are turning into scaled production. So, DR, what's going wrong here?
Yeah, everyone says start with a pilot, prove value, and scale from there. And that's how you start out with 30 pilots and nothing deployed to production. I recently had Rick Lievino on my Telco in 20 podcast. And he shared with me that AT&T has deployed over 400 agents, 400. And the question everyone is asking is how do you manage context across all of those agents? Most telcos can't answer that question, so they're hitting the brakes. So think about those 30 pilots. You're building context from scratch every single time. That's 30 times you've taught AI about your business, and 30 times it got it wrong. Agents do work. Right? But telcos haven't figured out how to manage context at scale yet. So that's not an AI problem, that's a context problem. Fix your context, and you'll fix your agents.
Okay, so the problem is context. But in my conversation with operators, there's so much discussion about data, data readiness, data platforms. You've got to get your data in order before you can do anything meaningful with AI. I've heard you refer to that as a trap. So why is that a trap?
Everyone thinks garbage in, garbage out is about the data. It's about the garbage context. Yes, you need a good foundation, but that foundation is not clean data. It's about having an ontology. You're going to hear this word a lot in the next year, I'm guessing, so I'm introducing it one more time. So why does AI hallucinate? It hallucinates because it doesn't have a brain. It has 200 systems or 400 systems or even 1,000 systems whispering different things to it. And ontology is that brain. One place that knows what subscriber means, what eligible, what the definition of eligible is, what actions are valid, what's allowed, and what's not. AI thinks through the ontology, and the brain won't let it hallucinate. But building a brain is not a weekend project, right? You have to really invest in it, and it's years of encoding telco domain knowledge. That's not a feature you can just bolt onto a product. That's institutional knowledge made executable.
Right, I mean, building a brain, I love the concept, but that's a massive undertaking. It's another massive undertaking. Operators have a lot of those going on at the moment. So I guess the question is, how do you get past this conversation around digital transformation and into AI-driven transformation?
How long have telcos been transforming? 10 years, 20 years, right? The last transformation was supposed to be it. How's that working out for them?
Software transformations in telcos are typically very cumbersome because there's so much legacy across all of our technology domains. Sometimes it's poorly documented, process gaps, and so on. That just takes a lot longer than you would like to see. And sometimes projects that should take 2-3 months take several years.
Listen to what he just said. 2 to 3 months sometimes takes several years. That's not a skill problem. It's that swapping out systems is the wrong approach. Here's what no one is saying. You don't need to transform to make AI work. You need an architecture that makes AI scalable today. And Ontology solves this problem. It connects to everything you already have. Amdocs, Ericsson, Oracle, whatever, without replacing a thing. And here's the kicker. Once the ontology is in place, swapping Amdocs for anything else you want becomes a configuration change, not a 3-year program. The answer is not a new system. It's an ontology that makes AI understand your telco.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about software integration. This is something operators have spent hundreds of millions of dollars, that's maybe low, doing over the past few decades. That's APIs, ESBs, middleware, all of that. Why has that software integration investment not started to address the context problem that you framed out?
Because integration is not comprehension. You've integrated hundreds of systems. You still have hundreds of definition of subscriber. Here's an example for you. A customer journey starts out with a person buying a line, and it ends with that line being provisioned. Show me on your process map where that person became a device. You can't, because your systems don't know it's the same entity. Billing sees an account, CRM sees a contact, network sees a line, provisioning sees a device. You were sold integration when you needed comprehension. Your pipes work, they just don't know what's in them.
DR, you mentioned Amdocs there and some other incumbent vendors in the space, but Amdocs, they have an agentic AI platform they announced relatively recently. If I'm an operator, isn't it less risky for me to stick with the company that developed my systems, that knows my systems?
Yeah, they know your systems because they made them incomprehensible to anyone else. That's not expertise, that's a trap. Your vendor, yes, your vendor does know your environment, but that knowledge is trapped in their consultants, not in their software. An ontology makes that knowledge permanent, executable, working for you, not rented by the hour. It also makes their consultants optional. So they're not going to be building an ontology for you anytime soon. So Totogi did.
All right, by my count, that is 5 myths down. So what do you want to leave everybody with today?
This, Sean.
Totogi is a very strategic partner that we're really relying on. With the help of Totogi as well as the data ontology, and that's the beauty, that's where the magic happens. You get to solve one use case and get ready from a foundational point of view to the next use case. So it's like Lego bricks. Once you build one floor, it's already the foundation for the next floor. It's something that's really bringing value to Zain Sudan.
That's Zain. Same systems, same data, now scalable AI. That's the difference between pilot purgatory and production AI. So here's what I want to leave you with. Don't start with the use case. Don't start with data cleanup. Don't wait for your transformation to finish. Don't wait for your incumbent's roadmap. Build your brain, the ontology, and start getting value out of AI today.
All right, build the brain. I mean, I love it, DR. How can everybody find out more?
Well, you can come find us in Hall 2, stand 2G51. We'll show you the ontology in action. You can connect your systems with real data, not a demo, the real thing. It's pretty amazing.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you so much for the time today. Thank you all for your attention.
Awesome. Thank you.